We queens, we love, we go-getters, you know better. We show up, look good, you know that's what we do. We queens, we love, we go-getters, you know better. We show up, look good, you know that's what we do, yeah. If they don't see what you got, keep walking, blow it up. Run it up, run it quick, yeah. Don't forget you got skin, no.
Elevate, level up, way to the top, headed to the peak. All them boys wanna talk, hit them out of love, but don't got receipts. I do it with ease, to you it's a burden, to me it's a breeze. You feel that? That when it's degree, that kick back. You coming at me, boy, sit back. Came out the womb like this, hit the pedal and vroom right quick. Gotta get it, we going up, way up, might land on the moon. You step in a room like this, we breaking the rules right quick. They killing the mood, and up in a few, might land in a tomb. I ain't gonna lose it now. the ops, I'm leaving no remnants. They all in attendance. Gotta go big, I aim for the fences. It's mine, I sense it. Back in the scene, I'm back to the business. Back on the front line, gotta grind. It's time, let you be the witness. At the time, turn a repeat to a 3P, yeah. Got the franchise on me, you more like G Lee, yeah. 21st century, you all the way BC, yeah. Old boys been washed up, I'm washed up in TT, hey. Came out the womb like this, hit the pedal and room right quick. Gotta get it, we going up, way up, might land on the moon. Who step in a room like this? We breaking the rules right quick. They're killing the mood and up in a few, might land in a tomb.
This time, told him that I'm on it. This time, I'ma let him know I'm on it. Can't find love, yeah, on Molly. Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, I'm on it. I can't take no breaks. Every game, I'm never going MIA. Putting numbers on the board when I play. Lift the trophy in the air, I can't wait. This time, I'm on it. Yeah, I'm on it.
Watch how I snap in they neck, dice, so I don't need to respect. Move, I act the fool. It's ludicrous, watch how I'm coming to your hate league team in a month. See, you got shooters, big time rolling up, but bodies can't hit a new rack. John got it, they gun in my shoes. All star, get some insurance, running with an OG, get endurance, better control your breathing. Trash star, running over wax, got a pack in the back full of matches. I'm hot as a fever. Already veteran, huh? I don't gotta ask, they gon' let us in, get on my leg. Spinning like a tank on E, hopping out, running down on feet, baptizing this.
First game of the day here at the Smith Fitness Center 2024 Armed Forces Basketball Championships, day number 4. Dan Hawkins, Joel Hines, the second audio-visual squad and crew here to give you the sights and sounds all week long. And we've got a pretty interesting matchup this afternoon because now we're in the phase of the tournament where you've got some familiarity.
Absolutely. This is the second time around in the round robin. Teams have scouted each other. They're familiar with, who they've already played, and we should have an exciting matchup today.
So we're going to turn it over to the Smith Fitness Center public address announcer for the starting lineups.
Check 1 2. Let's get ready to play some basketball today. All right, let's start with our visiting team. We have the Air Force men. Number 3, Brad Boyd. Number 1, Draylon Perkins. Number 5, Ja'Kaven Leffridge. Number 13, Austin Parker. And number 20, Jamal Lawson. Now for the home team, let's give it up for number 4, Ryan McGee Coleman. Number 3, Noah Baldes. Number 22, Tyler Nelson. And number 5, William Bobby Miles. Number 30, Matthew Sellers. Give it up for the home team. Y'all give it up for Eddie F., Brandon, and Vic, holding us down for game number 1. All right, let's play ball.
Starting lineups on the floor. We'll go through them first for visiting Air Force and some changes in the starting lineup. Draylon Perkins is in the starting lineup, but not as a point guard today. He is going to play the 2-guard position. Brad Boyd gets his first start of the tournament at point guard for Air Force. Kevo Leffridge in there, as well as Austin Parker making his first start of the tournament, and Jamal Lawson at center making his first start of the tournament in the front court for Air Force. In the backcourt for Navy, it's Noah Baldes getting his first start of the tournament for Brendan Clay. Ryan McGee Coleman and Bobby Miles also in the backcourt. The front court, Tyler Nelson, and the big guy, Matt Sellers. So away we go from the Smith Fitness Center. Day number 4 of this 7-day tournament. We are in the middle of a marathon. And Ryan McGee Coleman, right out the gate, gets a shot to go down, and there is a player down on the end line. So right away, an issue, but we talked about it during the starting lineups, but both teams now, as they've seen each other and things happen throughout the tournament, you got to make some changes with your lineups.
And we're already beginning to see the adjustments in the lineups. We have Navy last night coming off their first loss, looking to regain another win, and Air Force attempting to get back to 500.
That was Brad Boyd for Air Force. That was shaken up. Matt Doherty has come in here, so that will potentially change things, but Doherty is going to lead the ball up the court, so he will take over the point guard role, at least for the time. Be it 20 seconds in here. Air Force down 2 to Navy. Navy with a 2-1 record in this tournament. As pass down low for Lawson is intercepted, and Navy back on the attack. And the shot from the baseline is good for Tyler Nelson. He had 20 points last night.
And Tyler Nelson doing what he does. He is a deep threat from 3. So Air Force is going to have to get out on him.
Underneath the big man, Lawson puts it up and in.
We're going to see a battle of bigs tonight, or today rather, with Sellers in the Air Force front line, Lawson and Parker. It's going to be a good matchup.
Bobby Miles into the paint. Sellers underneath, got a shot partially blocked by Lawson. And that ball is last touched by Noah Baldes of Navy.
And as we've seen so many times in this tournament already, early on, teams trying to fill each other out, settle in.
This Navy squad lost 81-73 in the late game last night to a very tough Marine squad. Talked to Coach Michael Bonner before the game. He said, I didn't do a good enough job getting guys rest. And that cost us down the stretch in that second half.
Not only that, we saw Bobby Miles in foul trouble early on in the game, which maybe hurt Navy a little bit.
Perkins can't finish on the other end, so a little bit of a hectic start here for Navy and Air Force. And a whistle. Valdez earns a trip to the free throw line.
A little bit of an adjustment, especially for Navy, who had the late game last night, and they lead off today with the noon game.
Perkins whistled for the foul, and so it'll be Valdez at the free throw line. 4 points in last night's game, all coming from the charity stripe, and he puts that one down. So a quick 4-point lead here for Navy. 2 minutes gone by, just underway from Fort Moore, Georgia.
It's been a fun week so far, Dan. We're looking forward to great basketball action today again in the first phase of the second round robin.
Shot on the way, and that is money for Draylon Perkins.
Off the bank shot, no pun intended.
Sellers with the hook. Might be a heavyweight battle here this afternoon.
It might be, and again, Sellers does a great job establishing himself inside early. Air Force is going to have to find him. They're going to, Navy's going to feed the post. He's going to be there for drop-offs. He's going to attack the offensive glass. So Sellers is going to be a huge part of what Navy does.
Parker down with the rebound for Air Force, and Air Force is in business offensively, putting up shots very early in their possessions.
Absolutely. We just saw there in their secondary game, a draw and kick. Didn't fall for Doherty, but it was a good look.
Air Force lost yesterday by 6 points, as that is a shot from Brian McGee Coleman that's going to go down for 3. And there's a quick timeout on the floor. We'll keep it here. A good chance for us to talk about the standings here in this 2024 Armed Forces Basketball Championships. And as you can see, nobody on the men's bracket is undefeated after Navy's loss last night.
Absolutely. Navy came into last night's game 2-0, but they faced the defending champions, the Marine Corps, and you knew the Marines were going to give a valiant effort, not wanting to fall to 0-3 in this tournament.
And Air Force sitting there with the Marines. Need a win today. I mean, it's starting to get that time, right?
Absolutely, and the second time around, you know, cumulative score matters. So, for instance, if the Marines losing by 8 the first time around, if they were to win this game maybe by 9, they will get the tiebreaker. So the score does matter.
12-5 deficit for Air Force. They fell behind 13-2 in game 1 against Navy. And I talked to the coaching staff for Air Force before the game, and they said, we do not want to get behind early again in this game, because then we're trying to claw the whole game to get back.
Well, they're really going to need to stop here because they're down 12-5 early behind the shooting of Nelson and Ryan McGee Coleman.
Kevo Leftridge all the way to the bucket, coast to coast.
Leftridge is a slasher. He can, when he gets a head of steam going to the bucket, he can finish strong, and he does a great job of it.
5-point lead for Navy here. Sellers, the former Wyoming Cowboy, kicks it out to Nelson. A little two-man game there. That hook shot won't go. And they're going to say last touch by Navy. Darnell Mooney told me before this game today, Coach Darnell said, hey, we just have to play our game. If you're a shooter, shoot. If you haven't been taking hook shots throughout this tournament, don't start today. That kind of thing.
Players have to do what they do well to help their team win. So we'll look out for that today.
Josh Chichester got his shot blocked. And on the other end, though, he makes up for it with the steal.
So many times in this tournament, we've emphasized valuing the basketball and not taking possessions for granted. Turnovers can come back to haunt you.
Sellers and Chichester tangle up underneath the bucket, and Chichester will take his first free throws of the game. Almost 5 minutes gone by here. Half number 1 between Navy and Air Force. Huge matchup. The Air Force trying to even their record and get revenge for a Game 1 loss against Navy to open the tournament, as Chichester's free throw is on the way. And he misses. Let's take a look at that last play.
Chichester on the offensive glass. Seller picks up a foul. Great job attacking the boards.
That foul on Nelson is his first. And both free throws rim out for Air Force. Air Force 16 of 22 in yesterday's game from the free throw line.
Got to take advantage of your opportunities at the charity stripe. They can come back later into the game to haunt you.
Jack Brunswick fresh into the game for Navy, and he lost the handle. Now it's Perkins, step back. It looked true, but it in and out.
That's 2 early turnovers for Brunswick. He has to be strong with the ball today.
Quincy Owen is going to check into the lineup for Air Force. Tim Pierce also going to come into the lineup here. Just over 5 minutes gone by. Navy with that 5-point lead here. Navy coming off the quick turnaround from the late game to the early game.
Doesn't seem like it's affecting them right now.
Dakota Ayala and Jalen Tolliver, who fouled out of last night's game, picks up foul number 1. Ayala had just 4 points in last night's game, averaging 9.3 points a game in this tournament. As you see the last play and the foul from Tolliver. Valdez is out for Navy. Trey Keaton. Coach Bonner said he's going to see a little more playing time today. Brendan Clay is out after that pick screen last night. Coach said that he wanted to go, but he's not going to go today, protecting him from himself.
You have a long way to go this week. He did come back in last night's game, but I see why Coach would want to keep him out as a precaution.
Tolliver in the paint, lost it, and Air Force right back with it.
Dan, that's 3 turnovers from the point guard spot for Brunswick, which leads to an and-one opportunity.
Tolliver with the bucket. And Trey Keaton, greeted rudely upon entering the game, picks up his first foul.
But back to Navy, we're seeing how the absence of Clay is impacting this team at the point guard spot. The assistant coach telling them to settle down right now.
And the first free throw is good for Tolliver. Goes by JT. Three for 5 in the tournament now from the free throw line for Tolliver. Down to a 4-point advantage for Navy.
Navy does a good job screening, working the ball on both sides of the floor, running their secondary and half-court sets. They execute well.
And Keaton has picked up 2 quick ones here, Joel, as Bobby Miles comes back into the lineup. Ayala has it poked away. Nice job from Quincy Owens.
Air Force is active defensively. They're forcing turnovers, getting hands on balls. They're long, lanky, athletic, and it shows on the defensive end.
Spin move for Pierce in the lane, can't connect.
And we're starting to settle in now after that chaotic start. Teams are starting to settle in, executing their plays on both ends.
Lethbridge finds a cutter. That's Ortega. Nice pass down low to Tolliver. Nice pass from Ortega.
Right, and that started with Lethbridge. He implored his team to cut, and when Tolliver did cut, he ended up with the easy bucket off the drop-off from Ortega.
Air Force trails by just 2. And the referee lets Tolliver know that he has committed a foul. That's going to be his second. So not a good situation for Tolliver after he fouled out of last night's game.
Absolutely. The ref also let him know that he won't stand for any extracurriculars after each and every foul call. They're going to establish control in this game early so it doesn't get chippy. Navy does a great job playing through their bigs, Ayala and Sellers.
Tolliver doing a nice job on the defensive glass for Air Force right now. As Vinny Ortega takes a 3. Miles down with the rebound for Navy.
Very confident shot by Ortega. And he's also very scrappy on the defensive end. Takes charges, makes the hustle plays.
Parker is going to get whistled for a blocking foul. That's his first.
We see both teams going to the bench, having rotations. Again, this is the 4th game in 4 days. Players might be a little fatigued.
And it's early, but Ortega came out and Lethbridge comes in on this defensive possession. Some matchup substitutions early.
Absolutely. Coaches are tuned into their strategy as we see Nelson with the baseline jumper in the mid-range, a 3-level scorer he is.
4 points for Nelson.
Nelson's just a scorer. He knows how to put the ball in the basket.
This time Ayala wins.
And he drains it.
Tyler Nelson, the former midshipman, puts Navy up 7. Seven-point lead for Navy here. Dan Hawkins, Joel Hines. Game 1 of the day here at the Smith Fitness Center between Navy and Air Force. The first game of the tournament where it's a rematch.
Yes, and again, we've seen some adjustments early that teams have made, whether in their lineup, finding the right combinations. And right now, Navy has a 7-point advantage the second time around.
Perkins in some trouble in the paint. And it will be Navy basketball. The first matchup between these two teams, Joel, was a 11-point loss for Air Force. They trailed by 21 points at the half, but they got the deficit down to 7 points late in that game as Jack Brunswick all the way to the bucket.
Brunswick with kind of a hybrid floater slash finger roll as we see in transition. Parker attacks Miles. He wasn't quite set, and he drew the blocking foul.
That's the first foul on Miles. So it's Austin Parker back at the free throw line. And he misses the first one. Parker, 69% free throw shooter in this tournament. Yesterday, a tournament high 15 points for him.
Highlighted by a very emphatic dunk.
I remember that.
He's a great athlete.
6-point loss to Army for Air Force yesterday.
Air Force goes to a 3-2 zone, switching up defenses. But that doesn't matter to Mr. Nelson as he drains from the outside again.
11 points in this game. He had 3 trays in last night's game, and tonight, or excuse me, this afternoon, I should say, already with 3. Pierce, and a foul. That foul on Noah Valdez. So he has 2 fouls here, does Valdez. Pierce, the Albany, Georgia native, hits the first free throw. And here's that last play.
Valdez just got caught reaching in post defense. That's a second foul, followed by the reach on one of the previous possessions.
Both teams with 5 team fouls in this first half. And we haven't hit the 10-minute mark just yet. So we might be seeing a lot of free throws in our future.
Yes, and we see Air Force quickly gets back into man-to-man defense, so much so that Parker was shadowing Nelson, like you said, who already has 11 points early on, to slow him down.
Good to see Boyd back into the game. Parker went up against Sellers.
Again,
and he gets his first.
And again, Parker only at 6'4", going against the 6'10" Sellers. He is not scared at all, trying to finish over top of him, and Sellers just came down on him. Dan, I'm surprised when Air Force is on the free throw line, they don't have 2 rebounders there. They've missed a couple of free throws, and who knows, if you have another rebounder there, you might be able to get an offensive rebound.
Parker 1 out of 2 on that trip. He's 2 for 4 from the free throw line. Air Force just 65% in the tournament as a team from the free throw line. 8-point lead for Navy. Bobby Miles, a little bit soft, gets his own follow though and lays it up and in.
And we see when Nelson, even though he didn't get the ball, coming off that screen, he draws so much attention because of his early start. Leaves Bobby Miles open, he misses his initial shot, follows his shot, gets the offensive rebound putback.
Pierce had to pick up his dribble, and now Lawson for 2. That was about as far away as you could get without being a 3.
Yes, Air Force's post players play away from the basket. They start their offense away from the basket and capable to hit mid-range jump shots.
Parker is all over Nelson. And Nelson finds a way, but the 3 won't go. And here comes Brad Boyd. Finds Leftridge in the paint. Nice kick out to Pierce. Got it.
That's great secondary action. Leftridge was in the trail spot. Then when he got the ball, he kicked it out to the open shooter and he drained it.
And a timeout. Air Force clawed back. They trail by 5.
We on a conquest, came a long way. Look at the progress. I see no competition. It ain't no contest. You ain't in discussion, not even a prospect. Yeah, you better go and get to meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Might as well call the league up. Tell them put the trophy on reservation. Been going up, that's elevation. No holding back, no preservation. Treat off season like postseason. No days off, this dedication.
Game time, don't expect us to play nice. We got plans to take every record home. One thing you should know is how to.
Yeah, you better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah, no holding back, no preservation, no off days, this dedication. Game time, get out the way, we coming through. Check the hang time, been on top, ain't nothing new. A lot of talk, whole lot of noise, but ain't cutting through. Word on roll, you got a couple L's, you'll have another song.
Air Force and Navy, and right now it's Navy with a 5-point lead, but Navy feeling the switch from a zone to man D by Air Force as they try to put pressure on the big man Tyler Nelson, who has 11 points to start the game.
Yes, he does. They have to find a way to slow him down, and they're trying multiple defenses early on just to do that.
Bobby Miles lost it. And numbers for Air Force, but Tyler Nelson gets back in a hurry. Lawson there, can't clean it up. Lawson again on the baseline. No, it's Nelson with the rebound. And an offensive foul, and that's going to be on Miles.
Miles again, as we saw yesterday, quick couple of fouls in the first half, and he's a key piece for Navy. Navy needs him on the floor to have a chance to win.
And actually, they didn't call that on Miles. My apologies, it's on Sellers. I thought they called Miles, but Sellers picks up his second. So he'll go to the bench, and Ayala quickly back in.
Sellers is an equally important piece for Navy.
Lawson gets the first one to drop. It's 1-1 because of the 17 fouls of Navy. Lawson had 2 points in last night's game, but 6 today.
You see Parker early on picking Nelson up full court as Air Force is their man-to-man. He's determined not to let him get the ball.
Air Force has cut the lead to 3 for Navy. Dakota Ayala wanted a 3. What a move from Kevo Leftridge.
That's a great job by Air Force in their secondary action, reversing the basketball, and Leftridge doing what he does, slashing to the paint and finishing on the reverse layup.
Ryan McGee-Coleman, a little running floater. Who's better at that than him?
Navy has some scorers on their team, whether it's Coleman, Miles, Sellers, of course, Nelson. They have many guys who can hurt you.
3-point lead for Navy. Brad Boyd in the paint. A little bit too soft, but Lawson there. Or excuse me, Parker. He's got 4. And it's back to a 1-point game.
Parker does a little bit of everything. He defends. Again, he gets out on the break. He attacks the offensive glass. Key piece for Air Force.
Trey Keaton off the miss from Ayala. Just his second bucket of the tournament. Now it's Parker. He got down there in a hurry.
It was, and that was a great pass advance from Boyd.
How about Pierce? Tried to make a great defensive play. He did make a great defensive play. So a wild sequence here for both teams.
Yes, the pace starting to pick up again.
Turn around on the baseline for Pierce. Won't go quickly in transition. Nelson 1-on-3. And a whistle. Got foul whistled on Boyd. Coach Bonner said that Air Force defense slapped the backboard.
Yes, but when Tyler Nelson has the ball, you do not have to beg him to try to attempt to score. He's very aggressive offensively, whether inside or outside.
So Nelson at the free throw line. Nelson, as he misses the first free throw, he was a 63% free throw shooter over his 4 years at the Naval Academy from 2019 to 2023. 110 career games for Nelson, 80 starts, averaged 12.4 points a game as a senior.
He's a big-time player, especially in that league.
25-point game against Boston U was his career high, as that one rattles out. And a lane violation?
Apparently so. Nelson had missed both free throws, so he gets another opportunity to at least sink one as Air Force has clawed their way back in the game.
So 1 out of 2, and we'll see if that point comes back to haunt. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it as well. 5:28 to play in the first half. Navy by 4.
Came a long way. Look at the progress. I see no competition. It ain't no contest. You ain't in discussion. Not even a prospect. Yeah, you better go and get to meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Might as well call the league up. Tell them put the trophy on reservation. Been going up, that's elevation. No holding back, no preservation. Treat off season like postseason. No days off, this dedication.
Game time, don't expect us to play nice. We got plans to take every record home. One thing you should know is how to.
Yeah, you better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah.
4-point lead for Navy as we start play on this Day 4 of the 2024 Armed Forces Basketball Championships. Dan Hawkins and Joel Hines running a marathon. Me and you, partner.
Absolutely. we are, well, considering the tournament, we're not quite at the halfway point yet.
Brunswick whistled for the foul. Of course, our second audio-visual squad and crew, they're right there with us running the marathon. Manning the cameras, out in the truck.
All of these teams doing the best they can to vie for either the 1 or 2 seed to get in that championship game at a chance to win the gold medal.
Another free throw line miss for Air Force. Keaton got a shot blocked.
Leffridge again, long, athletic, metallic shot.
And Hassan Nyang from Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam is making his first appearance in the tournament.
Coach Bonner going deep into his bench right now.
Nyang wants a 3. Got to get the nerves out.
He was wide open, but first appearance in the tournament, airballs his first shot.
Leftridge, as you said it earlier, slashing, but he goes hard at the paint.
He does. He tries to find a way to get some paint touches via the dribble, and he earns a trip to the stripe.
Niang with his first foul. 9 team fouls now on Navy, so one more and it'll be double bonus time for the Air Force, but 1-1 here for Kevo Leftridge. The Dallas, Texas product. 5 points in last night's game against Army before he fouled out. He has 5 points this afternoon. Quincy Owens back into the Air Force lineup to replace Lawson. 4:43 to play in the opening half. The Navy and Air Force women will play next. Leftridge misses the second. It's a 3-point lead for Navy. Air Force hanging around, but just not able to crest the ridge yet as Ayala puts it up and in.
Good post feed by Niang. Better move by Ayala to sweep to the middle of the floor and finish with the left hand.
That shot was blocked by Niang, making his presence felt, but it's Perkins who hands it off to Tolliver. And now Navy will get the rebound and a foul, and Nelson and Niang are fired up.
Niang brought his entire team, the bench, to their feet with his 2 blocks, coming in early, making up for their air ball, had a good post feed, showing his prowess on the defensive end, very athletic.
On the board it says 3. I don't think that's 3. I'm going to have to check with the official scores. But Nelson's free throw in and out. Ayala tried to bump it back in, but Air Force down with the rebound. Traylon Perkins all the way to the rack.
That was a great drive by the lefty. Baseline cleared, went right by Brunswick, finished at the rim.
Traylon with just 5 points in the game so far. He had a big day yesterday. Pass down low for Ayala, and Niang paying dividends off the bench.
Absolutely. He's saying, Coach, I need more playing time. This shouldn't be my first appearance as Ayala finishes.
How about that bucket for Anthony Morris? It's a 3-point game.
That's one of those passes that you wish you could get back as a coach and a player, trying to thread the needle there. Better to make sure passes as the coach implores him to take care of the basketball, and Nelson says, my bad.
I'm really just in awe after playing 3 consecutive days now. Day number 4, the sheer physicality and speed of this game is incredible.
Well, again, our servicemen and women are in excellent physical condition, obviously, and it's showing here this week at the Armed Forces Basketball Championship.
Chichester tried to go down low for Tolliver. It's picked off.
Niang again, fronting the post, deflecting the basketball, creating the steal.
Chichester down with that rebound, and Perkins just simply threw it away, threw it right behind Morris.
Dan, the unforced errors come back to haunt you, and sometimes it boils down to simple basketball fundamentals, pass and catch.
You want speed, but it's got to be deliberate speed.
Absolutely. As a coach once told me, go quick, but don't hurry.
Navy keeps their 3-point lead for the moment. Ayala against Chichester. And Morris down with the rebound. Leftridge wants it, and a foul. He's so good at drawing that contact.
He is, and he puts his head down, and he knows how to get to the rim. He knows how to get the ball in the paint via the drive, earning another trip to the free throw line.
Second foul on Niang, and it's Leftridge back at the free throw line. He's 2 out of 3. Second one is true. And don't look now, Joel. We're all knotted up.
Air Force has done a good job clawing back into this game. Now it's just a 1-point deficit.
Offensive foul, and I believe that's Niang, and it is. So
it is. Got caught with the moving screen there. The ball handler as well as Niang have to make sure that the screener is set before we come off shoulder to shoulder. Just got caught with the left shoulder lunge, but he had a good rotation for his first action.
Yeah, you saw the shoulder there. He was clearly moving. Great shot from our crew. Brad Boyd backing down Brunswick. Off the glass, that was sweet.
Little post-high action, finding the perimeter player in the paint for the post-up as we see Brunswick attempt a three.
And Chichester down with the rebound. Air Force with their first true lead of the game. It's 35-34, Chichester. And it's Nelson snagging the rebound. 127 and counting here in the first half.
Great cross screen by Nelson to get Ayala open for the left-handed sweeping layup. Navy does an outstanding job setting deliberate, intentional screens in their offensive set.
And Ayala trying to make a play on the defensive end, and does. Navy gets out of the pile with the basketball, and we're under a minute to play.
Bodies on the floor. This really means something to all of these teams going after every loose ball, floor burns, chasing rebounds. It's a good thing, great thing to watch.
Matt Doherty back in for Air Force. Finds Brad Boyd on the baseline, just too strong. And Boyd tried to tie up Nelson. And there was a jump ball, but the possession arrow, nope, they're gonna call a foul. And that's a tough break. That's on Tolliver, because that's 3.
And again, after fouling out last night, 3 fouls in the first half again, has to be aware of his situation, how important he is to his team.
Oh, so they change it to Brad Boyd. And so that is a lucky break for Air Force.
Absolutely, got bailed out there.
I mean, that's just a tough one to pick up with under half a minute to play.
Maybe a little politicking from the bench help change that call.
But it worked. So Tyler Nelson at the free throw line. And that one out.
After going 7 for 7 from the stripe in last night's game, he's missed a couple today.
Shot clock is off. Air Force can hold for the final shot here of this first half. Clock's at 10. Leftridge and a whistle and a turnover for Air Force. So just 3 seconds left here, and Air Force will go with the full court pressure here. You'd like to keep this a 1-point game if you're Air Force.
Yes, you don't want to give Navy more momentum going into the halftime. Half-court heat doesn't go down.
36-35, Navy has the lead here at the half. 12 points for Tyler Nelson of Navy. Leads all scores, and it's been an entertaining one.
It's been a very entertaining one. After a frenetic start, both teams settled in. Navy had the early lead. Air Force comes back to make it a one-point game. We're in store for an exciting second half.
Back in about 14 minutes with the second half. We'll leave you with some highlights from the first.
We on a conquest. Came a long way. Look at the progress. I see no competition. It ain't no contest. You ain't in discussion. Not even a prospect. Yeah, you better go and get to meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Might as well call the league up. Tell them put the trophy on reservation. Been going up, that's elevation. No holding back, no preservation. Treat off season like postseason. No days off, this dedication.
Game time, don't expect us to play nice. We got plans to take every record home. One thing you should know is how to.
Yeah, you better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah, no holding back, no preservation, no off days, this dedication. Game time, get out the way, we coming through. Check the hang time, been on top, ain't nothing new. A lot of talk, whole lot of noise, but ain't cutting through. Word on roll, you got a couple L's, you'll have another soon, don't sweat. Whole lot of sacrifice, no regrets. Whole lot of dubs, but ain't done yet. Say you the one, but ain't one yet. Running the game, ain't take one step. Hold up. Yeah, all the emotions aside. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. How you gon' play when the game on the line?
Game time, don't expect us to play nice. We got plans to take everywhere to wrong. One thing you should know is how to.
Yeah, you better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. How you gon' play when the game on the line? Came for the dirt, but it ain't no shame. Had to put the work in, grind day by day. All the blood, sweat, tears, no pain, no gain. I was ready for the moment and it came my way. Where the spotlight shine, where they say my name. It's the life I chose, the price I paid. A lot of sacrifices every day I prayed. Hope it all pays off in the end. I'll play, I wanna win. Seen a lot of things, ain't been the same since. Worked too hard for this year, I'm convinced. Been on the brink, yeah, been on the fence. Now I'm this close to the win. When the chance came, now I didn't turn back. Lord to the city, put the team on the map. Up to the floor, start running up stats. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, you better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. How you gon' play when the game on the line?
I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, 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 dominate. Dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. Please don't ever fix your mouth to try to diss him. I can rearrange your teeth like novice dentists. Snap like Thanos, turn to dust my competition. But I preach non-violence, so I just dismiss them. Ocean all my flows, I wear all my gold. Two can't sell my chain, you just follow your nose. Cross your like Kyrie, I'm so grimy, leave slimy. Size know my foes, next to greatness, they look tiny. Ooh, yeah, 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 ayy. All y'all look like steak. Ooh, yeah, 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 ayy. I'm finna finish my plate. This ain't even a game, it's a dinner date. Curse my competition, watch me dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate, dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate. Dominate.
Fresher than some Altoids or Mentos, I've been froze. Better with the alloy, I mean metal, I spit those. Let her see a bad boy, she slick, oh, I spin those. A feather like a waypoint, I'm quick, so don't slip, bro. Oh my God, tryna dominate it all, yes, I go hard. I need 50 for a show, give me the whole pot. Drifting designer, you know that I'm on it, you in there, but you still getting funny. Lyrics best so, but I still go and know this way. Shawbill, bro, yeah, you show me how to fall, yeah, link on the floor, roll it coast to coast, yeah, we gon' take the throne, whipping a horse like a Trojan.
I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate. Dominate.
Halftime here at the Smith Fitness Center, and the Navy men with a 1-point lead over Air Force. A 12-point effort from Tyler Nelson leads the way for Navy, and for the Air Force, 7 points for Tim Pierce and for Kibo Leffridge in that first half. Dan Hawkins, Joel Hines, and Joel, I talked to Navy head coach Micah Bonner, and I said, what's the one-sentence tagline for the second half? And he's like, hey, we got to find a way. We got to fight through our injuries. We've had some problems in the first half. We got to find a way to win.
Got to fight through adversity. It'd be interesting to see what adjustments both teams make at halftime. Again, Navy not trying to drop 2 straight. Air Force trying to get to 500, 2-2, and this very important double round robin.
Both teams with their original starting lineups on the floor as Lawson goes to the bucket, and he can't finish. And so Navy will roll through. I talked to Coach Darnell as Ryan McGee-Coleman makes his presence felt right away with the 3-ball. But go ahead.
McGee-Coleman walks into an uncontested 3 in transition and drains it.
And a foul. But I asked Coach Darnell about the first half, and he said, hey, I liked it. We took some timeouts when our guys got a little out of control. We're a young team. Seemed to work. He goes, I got 4 timeouts left. I'm going to use all of them.
As he should. And it worked in the first half when they were down by double digits, and they made it a 1-point game at halftime.
Boyd with his first free throw of the game. Air Force in the first half just 10 of 17 from the charity stripe. That's less than 60%.
And had they just made a couple of them, they would have gone into the lead at halftime. Free throws are very important, so we'll see how that impacts them toward the end of the game.
A good start on that front, however, with Boyd making both. Noah Valdez. That shot partially blocked by Lawson. Nice job. And now Air Force trying to run the floor, but an unforced error here.
Again, just going a little bit too fast in the break. You made a great defensive stop. Now you're going to break. You have to ensure that you get stops and scores and don't compound turnovers.
1 minute gone by here in this second half. Don't forget the women's game between Navy and Air Force to follow. This one about 25 minutes or so at the conclusion of this one. This is the first of 4 today. We're on the hump day of this tournament. Valdez buried it.
Great find, great shot. Leffridge in no man's land trying to slash in what he does best.
Lawson making a huge impact early in this second half defensively.
He is. That Air Force front line is big, they're athletic, they're strong, and it's hard in the interior to get anything if you're Navy.
Air Force able to recover. Perkins, as the shot clock rolls under 10, goes all the way to the bucket and an offensive foul.
Great job by Sellers. In correct position for the help defense, just extends himself and takes it between the 3 and the 0.
Air Force been getting in a little bit of trouble in the interior, going just too deep, and it's not working out.
Yes, when you get that deep, and sometimes coaches like to say, use maybe the elbow or the mid-post area to make a decision. Stop, pass, pull up, continue to go. So they have to be better with their decision-making on the interior.
There he is again, Mr. Lawson. Leffridge. No, McGee-Coleman. And Valdez head of steam, and Bobby Miles able to finish on the other end. And Coach Darnell says, I'm going to use one of those timeouts. 17:25 to play here in the second half. Navy by 7.
Dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate. I did not come to play, I came to dominate. Dominate. fix your mouth to try to diss him. I can rearrange your teeth like now.
Good start to this second half for Navy. They lead it 44-37 over Air Force. And Joel, Navy starting out strong in the second half, and Air Force a few unforced turnovers. We'll see what they do here on this possession.
Yes, Navy has done a good job stretching the lead back out. As we see, Sellers picks up another foul. That's his third, and he's very valuable to this team.
And the newly commissioned second Lieutenant Lawson at the free throw line. Lawson with 4 points in that first half, making his first start of the tournament as Coach Darnell trying to shake things up for Air Force. And a perfect 3 of 3 right now for Air Force at the free throw line in the second half, as Ayala's going to have to come in here and replace Sellers.
Sellers is not too happy with that call and having to come out the game. It's unfortunate for him and Navy.
One out of 2 on that trip for Lawson.
Air Force throwing different bodies to guard Tyler Nelson. Now we see Tolliver on him. He was face guarding him in the full court. And he's short on that contested jump shot. Great job by Tolliver defending the scorer, Nelson.
Got his hand right in his face. Matt Doherty in for Air Force. Tolliver, and a blocking foul is going to be called. And I believe on Bobby Miles. That's his second. Nelson ripped it down.
Nelson really rebounds his position very, very well.
Air Force playing that man-to-man D here. McGee Coleman kicks it out for Nelson. Shot clock is at 7. Bobby Miles hits iron. And Air Force has the ball go out of bounds off Navy. Jack Brunswick back in the game for Navy.
As Navy stretches out this lead to 6, Bobby Miles gets a spell so he doesn't pick up that third foul.
Perkins in the paint, not able to go. You think that change from being the point guard to just the shooting guard has impacted his game a little bit? Not able to get in rhythm so far as Traylon Perkins. An offensive foul called on the floor. And it is going to be on Nelson.
Tolliver all over Nelson, drawing that offensive foul. Nelson pleading with the officials.
Score still 44-38. Air Force keeping it close. Lawson thought about a 3. Tolliver up top for Vinny Ortega. Ortega finds Lawson.
That's great basketball. Work the ball both sides of the floor. Ball screen, stagger screen, drive the paint, dump down for Lawson. He finishes. Great assist by Ortega.
Noah Valdez and a blocking foul on Ortega.
Ortega attempts to take the charge there. Perhaps he was inside the cylinder. Or the arc, excuse me.
Valdez at the free throw line for the second time in this game. And he makes the first. 6 points in the game. Averaging 8.7 points a game so far through the tournament is Valdez.
Nelson has been very active on the glass. He was in on that offensive rebound attempt. Ball went out on Air Force, but we've seen what he's done on the defensive glass as well.
And an illegal screen call against Navy.
Ayala disagrees. Little handoff action there, getting called for the offensive foul.
The refs calling it tight here in this first game of the day.
They are not letting anything slide right now.
Ortega, nice little drop for Lawson. That's a combo that's working.
Right, that's the second time he's done that. Drive hard, defense commits, find the drop off, and Lawson finishes.
Ortega, the senior airman out of Luke Air Force Base, Arizona, playing well off the Air Force bench here in this second half. 3-point lead for Navy, 14-15 to play. Ayala to the bucket and a whistle and a foul.
Navy getting back to what they do well in the half court. Cross screens, staggered screens, feeding the post, and Ayala goes strong to the basket and draws the foul.
Just the first foul on Lawson. Ayala will go to the charity stripe. He's 1 for 2 in the game from the free throw line. 6 for 8 in the tournament so far for Dakota. And that one rims in and out. You see that last play with the foul, and that could have went on Tolliver as well. And Nying back into the game with his 3 fouls, getting an opportunity with Brendan Clay out of the Navy lineup today.
Absolutely. In the first half, we saw him check in for the first time in the tournament. He had a great rotation, a great showing on defense, and he's earned some more playing time here early in the second half.
2 misses for Ayala on that trip. Lawson, the big man, for 3. Yes!
Lawson is really making his presence felt here in the second half, showing the ability not only to finish inside, but step out beyond the arc and drain the 3 on the pick and pop.
12 points in the game for Lawson, 8 in the second half. And a foul, and that one's going to be on Lawson. So Lawson's insertion into the starting lineup for Air Force paying big dividends. It's a 1-point game, Navy with the lead.
And like you said, you highlighted the adjustments that coaches are making the second time around, and Lawson is paying dividends by being in the starting lineup.
That shot partially blocked from behind by guess who?
Lawson. He's all over the place right now. We might see him in the starting lineup for the rest of the way.
Lawson having the best game of this tournament for Air Force, for him personally, in this, the 4th game for Air Force. Air Force trying to even their record at 2-2. Ayala tries to answer the big man 3, can't. And another whistle. This time it's going to be on Austin Parker.
Parker gets called with the push underneath. Navy retains possession.
14th foul on Air Force.
Watch Nelson coming off a screen here on the left wing.
Perkins down with the rebound.
Navy does a good job in their underneath out-of-bounds sets, screening for the inbounder, whether it's Nelson, Brunswick, and Clay if he was in the game.
Ortega from the perimeter can't connect. Tied up at 45. And Lawson commits the foul, but Valdez not able to finish. But
what Valdez did there in transition, what I spoke to earlier, he came down in control, at a pace, made a decision in an attack move at the elbow, in and out, drove to the basket, evading the defender, just couldn't connect on the layup.
Valdez with 7 points in the game now. He's 4 of 5. Chichester is going to come back in for Air Force as well. So fresh legs out there. So important when you're on your 4th game in 4 days.
It absolutely is. You have to keep fresh bodies in the game. I'm sure the 4 games in 4 days is starting to wear on the players, so the coach is doing a good job keeping their rotations fresh.
Leftridge. Chichester, though, right there.
Chichester just getting in the game, making his presence felt on the offensive glass after another patented drive from Leftridge, who couldn't finish, but Air Force converts.
Valdez can't get through the Air Force defense. Nelson's going to give it a shot. Sellers has it stripped away by Leftridge. 3-on-2 for Air Force. Parker.
Nelson was determined to get to the basket on the other end, leading to that Air Force fast break where Parker tried to rise above Brunswick, earning a trip to the charity stripe.
That foul on Brunswick, his second. Parker with 4 points in the game, and he missed the first one. Let's watch that one again.
Yeah, Brunswick quite wasn't in position to take the charge, wasn't square. Committed the blocking foul.
Train on the tracks. I don't know what the right saying there is, but
well, Parker coming full steam ahead is a locomotive.
Yeah. 1 point lead for Air Force, 48-47. Niang. And it's Boyd down with the rebound, so Air Force trying to extend now. Boyd got caught in a triple team, finds Chichester, and he gets the two-handed flush.
Navy wanted to travel there on Boyd, but Boyd stopped, regained his pivot foot, and found Chichester for the two-handed jam underneath.
All 6'8" of Josh Chichester there. Air Force with a 3-point lead. Brunswick nothing but an air ball on that trip.
Air Force is slowly gaining control of this game as we see here the dump off to Chichester for the two-handed slam, and Chichester is making his presence felt early in this second half.
Tolliver in and out.
Air Force is playing with a lot of confidence right now.
One possession game. Lots of time, 10:43 and counting. Sellers underneath. And it's going to be Chichester who's going to pick up the foul.
You got to love that by the former Wyoming Cowboy, and he draws a trip to the line.
Sellers misses the first.
It's a great point by Coach Darnell, imploring his team to rebound and secure the ball with both hands, possessing the basketball.
.50 to 48 is the score. Brunswick. And the Navy bench was wanting to foul a holding call on Tolliver. I don't know if they were necessarily wrong, but no call. Can't worry about the non-calls.
You can't. Just got to forget about it and move on to the next play. Little flex action here, screen to screener from Air Force. Sellers gets a hand in there.
Tolliver for three. And Sellers got all tied up with Chichester there. And Sellers tried to get down on the other end quickly, but it's knocked away. Nice job by the Air Force defense. Parker switches hands midair. Tolliver puts it back, can't go. That was wild, partner.
This is a man's game, very physical on the inside, bodies flying everywhere.
That was nuts. And Niang, out of all that, ends up with his fourth foul. Timeout on the floor. We're going to take it as well. 9:23 to play in this one. It's been a great first game between Air Force and Navy.
Hold it, wait, thinking they're taking a bait. Looks like they're top of the chain, but guess who is coming to play? Winner, winner, saint or sinner, future brighter, watch it glimmer, let it simmer, they're seething. Hearing them gas belly breathing, easing up, faking a sweat, wheezing and catching their breath. Haven't seen anything yet, looking for more, never settle for less. Calling the foul, who look for the ref, falling behind you, get left. Every mistake it will cost you, dizzy and lost. Back to the line that you cross, levels about to be crossed, no doubt it's about to go up. This ain't no test, gotta be better than best. With love when you still up possessed, like a rocket, it's stuck to my chest and attack and attack. Call up the people and tell them I'm back.
.50-48 the score, 9:23 to play. Dan Hawkins, Joel Hines. Navy trailing Air Force. And how about Air Force big men? They have accounted for 12 of Air Force's 15 points here in the second half.
Chichester coming off the bench. Lawson newly inserted into the starting lineup. We know what Parker does. Air Force big men have really solidified themselves in the second half, establishing control in the paint.
Tolliver at the free throw line. Misses the first free throw. He had 5 points in that first half as Quincy Parker checks out and Kevo Lethbridge back into the Air Force lineup.
Air Force just has athletic wings and post players between Lethbridge and Tolliver and Lawson, of course, and Parker. They can really get after you.
Second one goes down. And with risk of the broadcaster's jinx, that Air Force D philosophy has shut down Tyler Nelson in the second half. No points for him.
He has been quiet. Obviously, that was a point of emphasis for the Air Force coaches, and they've kept them under control this half.
Valdez from downtown. 9 points in the half.
But when one of your stars isn't quite producing as you expect him to, other players have to step up, and Valdez does just that.
Another guy making his first start in the tournament, making the most of it. Lawson back in the game. Miles with the rebound. We're tied up at 51, 8:33 and counting.
We're in for a treat the last 8.5 minutes.
Buckle it up. Nelson goes to the rack and a jump ball. And they actually whistle. I'm not sure who they whistled the foul on. The ref signaled 2-2, but that's who's at the free throw line. The ref comes over to the scoring table to clarify. And they're going to whistle Tolliver for the foul.
Yeah, one ref, the baseline ref had jump ball. The ref on the sideline had a different call, called the foul.
Can take a look at that last play again.
But even so, Toller has to make sure not to come down. Even the optics of coming down and reaching will encourage the refs to call the foul.
13 points now for Nelson. That point was his first of the second half. Navy with a 1-point lead and a traveling violation. And the Air Force bench is not happy with the call.
That was a great defensive play by Bobby Miles. Lawson catching the ball in the right block. Sellers was defending, but Miles came over for the post double, dug a little bit, slapped the ball away, causing the turnover.
Perkins back into the game, replacing Tim Pierce for Air Force. How about that D for Brad Boyd? A steal, Air Force. And that ball knocked away. Great job defensively recovering by Noah Valdez.
Both teams are getting hands on balls there. As we saw on the other end, Sellers trying to back his way down, but Boyd digging in again, similar to what Miles did the previous possession, causing the turnover.
Clock under 8 minutes to play here in the second half. Tolliver into the paint, finds Lawson. Too easy.
Air Force is doing a great job driving the ball to the paint. When the defense commits, they find their bigs for dump-offs. Easy buckets.
1-point lead for the Airmen. Nelson got that one.
Mr. Nelson says, you're not going to be able to keep me down long. Makes a hard drive to the paint, pulls up, and hits a mid-range jump shot.
Tolliver to Lawson, yes. And Jamal Lawson definitely making himself the story of this game. He had 10 points total in the tournament, 16 this afternoon.
And we see his touch again from the perimeter.
And how about Sellers saying, I can do it too.
Big man responds with a jump hook over the left shoulder. Big time play.
Jamal Lawson won gold back in 2014, the last time the Air Force men did it. That shot up, rebounded by Navy. And Sellers and Bobby Miles in a two-man game, and it's Miles who finishes. He's got 6.
Great fast break by Navy. The touch pass, the awareness from Sellers to find Miles, and he hits him in stride.
3-point lead for Navy. Air Force needs a win in this game. Try to keep pace with Army.
Bobby Miles might be winded right now. He was tugging his jersey, asking the coach for a sub. He gets that breather that he asked for, the former Florida State Seminole.
And a foul on Tolliver.
His fourth again after fouling out yesterday. He's in foul trouble again with 5.5 left. He's very valuable to his team. One of those athletic perimeter wings who can slash, can defend.
Navy trying to extend a 3-point lead right now. Air Force trying to get it back. Leftridge puts Tyler Nelson back at the free throw line.
Navy is committed to their motion offense. On that play initially, you saw Leftridge and Parker communicate the switch, but as Leftridge got caught guarding Nelson in the post, got called for a hold.
Nelson just 3 for 8 today at the free throw line. 2 for 3 here in this second half. He has 16 points. Navy by 4, make it 5.
And as good as a shooter as Nelson is, it's surprising to see him under 50% at the free throw line today after going 7 for 7 in yesterday's game.
He looks focused, coming to the huddle. Navy up by 5.
Came a long way. Look at the progress. I see no competition. It ain't no contest. You ain't in discussion. Not even a prospect. Yeah, you better go and get to meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Might as well call the league up. Tell them put the trophy on reservation. Been going up, that's elevation. No holding back, no preservation. Treat off season like postseason. No days off, this dedication.
Game time, don't expect us to play nice. We got plans to take every record home. One thing you should know is how to.
Yeah. You better go and start meditating. Yeah, we coming for you, no hesitation. Look. Yeah. No holding back, no preservation, no off days, this dedication. Game time, get out the way, we coming through. Check the hang time, been on top, ain't nothing new.
Navy won the first matchup over Air Force to start this tournament, 91-80. In that game, they shot 24 of 32 from the free throw line. But here in this one, a little bit tighter, it feels like, Joel, as 5-point lead right now for Navy.
Yes, it was a 1-point Navy lead going into the break. Air Force took the lead, and now it seems like a back-and-forth matchup, 2-possession game as we get in crunch time.
Parker. Wow. And a man down for Navy. But how about that play from Parker?
A man's offensive rebound. Chichester a little overzealous there trying to shoot over the double team, but luckily his teammate was on the weak side, offensive glass, and converted the layup.
That was Parker's first bucket of the second half. He's got 7 in the contest. Lead down to 3 for Navy.
Air Force extends pressure here.
.450 and counting in this first game of the day from Fort Moore, Georgia.
Great job by Lawson showing on that ball screen, leading to the turnover, and Air Force the other way.
Possessions seem to be a little more deliberate here, and Parker just can't finish that one.
And the game does that in the waning moments. You know, 1 or 2 possession game, it'll slow down.
Nice pass from Ayala. Valdez, little scoop, no foul call. Coach Bonner wanted it. Leftridge from behind, and it's going to be Valdez, though, on the other end, who picks up the foul.
That was unfortunate for Valdez. He made a great cut after feeding the post. Ayala finds him but he compounds that miss with a foul on the other end.
8th team foul on Navy. That's the 3rd on Valdez. And Leftridge at the free throw line. I think, did Bobby Miles just throw that towel at you?
It was in my direction.
Leftridge 2 for 4 from the free throw line today for Air Force. That's his first point here of the second half. Before the tournament, Coach Doe called Leftridge his Scottie Pippen.
Sometimes you need those players that do a lot of things that show up in the box score. Not necessarily a prolific scorer, but he affects the game in so many other ways.
Valdez trying to tie. And it is Miles underneath.
Miles comes back in the game, gets an offensive rebound, put back, extends the lead to 4 for his team.
3:35. Perkins, quiet today, misses that one. Up ahead, and Ayala there with the two-handed flush. And Navy starting to pull away a little bit. 6-point lead.
Air Force's transition defense left a little to be desired there.
Parker, and a foul. And that's going to be on Nelson.
Parker creating second chance opportunities for his team. He's very aggressive on the offensive glass. He attacks the glass. He seeks the ball. He's a great rebounder.
3 for 6 at the charity stripe today for Parker.
And Dan, great rebounders rebound out of their area, not necessarily waiting for the ball to come to them, but they'll go get the ball, and that's what Parker does.
Airman at Ramstein Air Base, Germany. And his first year on this Air Force squad. Of course, Air Force is a really young team, only 2 returning players from a year ago.
Wow, this just says a lot. I think Parker might be on this team for a couple of years.
I mean, perhaps. Misses that one. Still a 6-point lead for Navy, approaching 3 to play. It's a big defensive possession here for Air Force.
Again, Parker corrals the rebound, but how about the post defense by Leftridge on the prolific scorer Tyler Nelson as Parker slashes to the rim and finishes it. He's good on both ends.
4-point Navy lead. Navy being very deliberate here. Trying to find a good shot out of the half court. Miles finds Nelson underneath. 19 in the game for him. And then a whistle on the floor. We're going to have a full timeout as well. We'll tell you about the whistle when we come back. 2:24 left in this one.
Dominate. I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 Please don't ever fix your mouth to try to diss him. I can rearrange your teeth like novice dentist. Snap like Thanos, turn to dust my competition. But I preach non-violence, so I just dismiss them. Ocean all my flows, I wear all my gold. 2 can't sell my chain, you just follow your nose. Cross your like Kyrie, I'm so grimy, leave slimy. Size know my foes, next to greatness, they look tiny. Ooh, yeah, 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 ayy. All y'all look like steak. Ooh, yeah, 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 ayy. I'm finna finish my plate. This ain't even...
been a good one. Game one of this day 4 of the 2024 Armed Forces Basketball Championships from Fort Moore, Georgia. Dan Hawkins, Joel Hines. I hope all 4 games today are as good as this one.
I do as well. It's very important right here for Air Force to get a bucket, try to keep this game close. Parker misses and Navy corrals the rebound.
Navy now with a real chance to make things tough for Air Force. It's a 2-possession game right now. Dakota Ayala finds Bobby Miles, and he's able to lay it up. Missed it, but the follow-up from Ayala.
Ayala bails his teammate Bobby Miles out. He misses the easy layup after the great pass. That just shows how active Ayala is, making great passes on the offensive rebound.
Matt Doherty with his first basket of the game.
It's a luxury for Coach Bonner and Navy to have 2 centers like Sellers and Ayala that they can rotate in, and both are very effective for their team. You never see them, or rarely see them play together, but they spell one another.
Valdez, and he simply lost the handle. That's a big break for Air Force.
It is. Try to drive hard to the rack. He has a tendency to kind of go a little fast. That's kind of different than what we've seen in previous Navy possessions, the deliberate nature, getting great shots. Still a 2-possession game with a minute left.
Both teams with 2 timeouts. Parker almost lost it. Shot clock at 11. And just a little bit out of control behind the basket by Leftridge.
Absolutely, and Ayala again affecting that shot, challenging and contesting on the inside.
We've got a timeout on the floor. We'll take it as well. Navy leads by 6. We're under a minute to play.
Dominate. I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 I did not come to play. I came to dominate. 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 Please don't ever fix your mouth to try to diss him. I can rearrange your teeth like novice dentist. Snap like Thanos, turn to dust my competition. But I preach non-violence, so I just dismiss them. Ocean all my flows, I wear all my gold. 2 can't sell my chain, you just follow your nose. Cross your like Kyrie, I'm so grimy, leave slimy. Size know my foes, next to greatness, they look tiny. Yeah, hey, all y'all look like
The center, I wish I had that kind of energy.
The crowd is dance mode, dance fever. It's a party in the stands. DJ doing a great job all week.
Been a fun one. 68-62. Navy trying to move to 3-1 if they can hold on here against Air Force. Air Force desperately trying to even their record at 2-2.
And it is critical that Air Force gets a stop here with 56 seconds to go.
Full court pressure and a jump ball situation. And I think Navy called a timeout. And in fact, they did. So Coach Bonner calls a 30-second timeout here with 50.9 ticks left to play. So as they talk about it on the court, let's tell you a little bit about the schedule today. The Air Force and Navy women will tee it up here in just a little bit. Air Force, the only unbeaten team in the tournament. They have a 3-0 record after a big win against an Army squad yesterday.
On the women's side, they have really separated themselves from the pack. They're playing well. They're a deep team. I expect them to play well today.
The Army and Marine men will take the court around 4:30-ish, and then Army and Marines the women. How about the women? A big win for the Marines. It's been a minute since the Marine women had a win here.
Absolutely. It's good that they got their first win in a number of years, and hopefully that carries over into their next games.
Underneath, and Bobby Miles puts it in. A breakdown defensively.
Absolutely. When you're pressing like that, it's important to be aware of who gets behind the defense. And Bobby Miles got the easy bucket.
And a foul quickly by Tim Pierce stops the clock with 35 ticks left. 8-point lead for Navy. And really worst case scenario for Air Force.
Yeah, now we're in a fouling situation where Air Force is trying to stretch the game. Hopefully they get some Navy misses at the free throw line so they can come down and ensuing offensive possessions and score.
Nelson with the miss. 11 of 22 on the day for Navy from the free throw line, so something to clean up if they escape out of this with the win. How about that? Another day, another 20-point effort for the big guy, Tyler Nelson.
He rolls out of bed and gets 20 points. He is a bona fide scorer.
Ball will stay with Air Force here with 24 ticks left. They trail 71-62, a 9-point lead. This was a 1-point game at the half.
Yes, and Air Force did a good job closing the gap and taking the lead, but Navy has regained control of the game, and it looks like they're on their way to their third victory in this tournament.
You know, Air Force seemed to get away from what was working early in that second half when they were going with the big men.
Yeah, so, again, they'll take this game, go back to the drawing board, see what works. They try to make some adjustments to their lineup, and unfortunately came out on the short end.
71-62, the final score here. Navy improves their record to 3-1. A 20-point effort from Lieutenant Junior Grade Tyler Nelson, and 10 points from Bobby Miles, 11 for Dakota Ayala, so a great effort for them. Air Force drops to 1-3 in this tournament. How about Jamal Lawson, his first start of the tournament, 16 points.
Yeah, Lawson being inserted in the starting lineup really paid off today for Air Force. Again, they didn't come out with the victory, but that's a positive sign moving forward that you can rely on him as a key piece of this Air Force team.
That's going to wrap up our coverage from the Smith Fitness Center. For this one, we'll be on the air in about 24 minutes or so, and we will see the Navy and Air Force women. For my partner, Joel Hines, our second audio-visual squad and crew, I'm Dan Hawkins. See you in a bit.